Hey there, I'm Zak Cole, and this is a Sandhill Crane, and it's a really big bird. But are you the biggest bird we have in Florida? Let's find out by counting down the top 10 biggest birds in Florida. Really quickly, I need to outline how we're going to define biggest because size and weight are not good measurements for birds. Instead, we're going to be using their wingspan, which has to be perfectly proportional to the bird's size to allow them to fly. So let's start things off.
Number 10. The flamingo. Our first entry on the list is the American flamingo. I've done a whole Wild Florida episode tracking down and talking about American flamingos in Florida, and that's a great video you should go check out. American flamingos are really big birds, considering that they only eat algae and shrimp, but can stand over 5 feet tall. But they rarely weigh more than 10 pounds, which is why we're using their wingspan. And the wingspan of the American flamingo comes in at 60 inches, making them our 10th biggest bird. Number 9, the wood stork. Our next big bird is the wood stork, a bird who lives near the water's edge just like the flamingo, but hunts for fish and frogs. When I worked at SeaWorld a few years ago, I used to watch wild wood storks chase little kids who were trying to feed the sea lions a fish. The stork would separate the kid from their parents and then would corner the kid while striking a pose, all while loudly clacking their bill at the kid, who would eventually surrender the fish to the stork if I didn't get to them first. While I always felt bad for the kid, it was kind of funny watching a child being chased by a child-sized bird. And this child-sized bird measures out with a wingspan of 62 inches. Wood storks aren't the prettiest of birds, but you'll probably like them more than our next bird. Number 8, the black-backed gull. Next up is a bird that most people probably aren't a huge fan of, the greater black-backed gull. Great black-backed gulls are the largest member of the gull family in the world, and among many parts of North America and Europe, they can also be found here in Florida. You might be familiar with gulls if they've ruined a picnic of yours at the beach, but great black-backed gulls are also voracious hunters, even hunting small mammals. In Europe, they've even been seen hunting rabbits. And any bird that swallows rabbits whole has to be pretty big, and with a wingspan of 65 inches, they certainly are. By this point, you've probably noticed a trend of all of our really big birds being found near water. In nature, there's typically more food near water that can support a larger body size. But our next bird is probably the most different on this list. Number 7. The turkey vulture. Soaring into 7th place, this really big bird doesn't hunt near water. In fact, it doesn't hunt at all. It's a scavenger. I'm talking about the turkey vulture. Vultures get a bad rap in general, but they're really important for helping to clean up the environment by eating dead animals and might even help stop the spread of certain diseases. Turkey vultures can be found around most of North and South America, with a wingspan of 67 inches. While turkey vultures aren't the most colorful bird, I'm not sure what it is exactly, but I think there's something really pretty about their faces, which of course makes them look like a turkey. But turkey vultures certainly aren't as colorful as our next bird. Number 6, the great blue heron. Great blue herons are a common, really big bird around not just Florida, but all of North America. You can usually spot these gorgeous birds near the edge of a body of water as they look for fish. If they can't find any fish, they'll eat just about anything else they can find, even if it's a baby alligator. They also have 2 really distinct color morphs. They come in an all-white form called the great white heron and a sort of in-between mix called a Waterman's heron. Both of these you can find in Everglades National Park. The great blue heron's wingspan measures out at 72 inches, making them a really big bird. Number 5, the Sandhill Crane. Next is the Sandhill Crane. These cranes are a staple of Florida wildlife and a really common sight where I live in Central Florida. They form couples that spend most of their lives together. You'll usually find them near water, but Sandhill cranes go wherever they want. Sometimes you can see their chicks riding on their parents' back. These really big birds have a wingspan of 77 inches. Sandhill cranes aren't endangered, but they are protected in Florida because they're frequently hit by cars. This crane I was filming actually had a broken leg because of a careless driver, but these birds are really adaptable, and it was learning to hop with just one leg to survive. Speaking of adaptations, our next bird has a very unique feature. Number 4, the brown pelican. Dive bombing into 4th place is the brown pelican, a common sight near any of our beautiful beaches. I love them so much. They have such a calm and graceful personality, and I love seeing them on our beaches. Brown pelicans' wingspan measures in at 79 inches. Their amazing throats can expand whenever they dive bomb in the water to scoop fish out, but their white heads do remind me of a balding old man, but nothing compared to our next bird. Number 3, the bald eagle. The national bird of the US is our next really big bird, the bald eagle. Florida actually has the second largest population of bald eagles in the world. We've got a lot of them here, and you'll typically see them near the water's edge hunting for tasty fish. Their nests are gigantic, and eagle couples return several years in a row just to use the same nest. Obviously, bald eagles are a really big bird, with a wingspan of 80 inches, but we're not done yet. Number 2, the magnificent frigatebird. Soaring into second place is our next really big bird, the magnificent frigatebird. Magnificent frigatebirds are one of the largest seabirds in the world. I talked about these pirate-like birds in an older video, but if you're lucky, you can see magnificent frigatebirds gliding along Florida's shoreline. When you finally see just how massive these birds are, you'll realize that magnificent frigatebirds are really big birds with a wingspan of 90 inches. Frigatebirds spend their lives in the air. They can't walk on land, and their feathers aren't waterproof. You'd think that'd make their lives a bit difficult, but they're doing just fine, just like our number 1 biggest bird. Number 1, the white pelican. Finally, we reached the biggest bird of them all. Florida's biggest bird, the American white pelican, with a whopping wingspan of 108 inches. American white pelicans are really weird pelicans. We normally think of them as seabirds, but they spend about half the year in the middle of the US and Canada for their summer breeding season, and only visit Florida and the other North American coasts during the wintertime. But compared to our year-round brown pelican, it's easy to see how the American white pelican comes in for the number 1 spot.
So what did you think of the list? Let me know down in the comments. I know this video is pretty unusual for me, but variety is the spice of life. And who knows, maybe I'll do something with our reptiles or our mammals. So I'm Zak Cole, this is a really big bird, and thanks for checking out what makes Florida so wild. I also want to give a special thanks to Gerald Thompson, who gave me this video idea from Instagram. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video, and I'll see you next time. Will we see him next time? Yeah, we will.